Hi everyone, it's Misty from the Suburban Edge, that place between the country and the city where together you and I can learn modern homesteading skills. One homesteading skill is growing your own food and then learning how to process and preserve your own food. So this last harvest, I harvested my butternut squash and I showed you in a video, which I will pin at the end, how to make your own butternut squash puree. I froze mine in half cup measurements because a lot of recipes call for a half a cup or a whole cup, and I just felt like that was the easiest. I have made cookies. I have made butternut pancakes. Oh my gosh, they're so good. And I developed this recipe on a spiced butternut muffin. I'm going to a breakfast Bible study tomorrow. It's a potluck, and I'm going to be bringing my spiced butternut muffins. So come along for the ride as I show you how easy it is to make these muffins from scratch. If you don't have butternut puree, that's okay. You can use pumpkin. It's a slightly different flavor profile, but it'll work out just fine. All right, so let me tell you what is in these muffins. First thing is you want to get your muffin pan all set up. I am using these beautiful liners because it's, fancy, and it just makes it a lot easier. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. In a large bowl, put 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. You will need 1 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/4 teaspoon ground cardamom, and 1/4 teaspoon nutmeg. For your muffins, you can use 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, or I like to use 1/2 cup of salted butter, melted and then allowed to cool. That's what I got in here. It makes everything better, butter, I'm just saying. And FYI, if you didn't notice this, I bake exclusively with salted butter. I know people tell you all the time to use unsalted butter, but when you go out to a restaurant, it's like the best food you've ever had. Well, think about what made it great. Salt and fat, usually. So, butter. Salted butter. That is salt and fat. I'm just saying, it's good. But you can use oil. It's okay. You need 1/2 cup of white sugar and 1 cup of packed brown sugar. 1 cup of butternut puree, 1/2 cup roughly chopped dried cherries. I like to use the Montmorency cherries. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. The tartar cherries. This is an optional item, but it does make the muffin. Another optional item is 1/2 cup of chopped pecans or walnuts. There are some great variations to this. You can add chocolate chips instead of nuts and fruit. I love the balance of the muffin, the butternut muffin, kind of a real sweet, earthy flavor with the tartar cherries and the crunch of the pecans. So let's put it together. Right now, we're cooking from scratch. And the last thing you're going to need is 2 large eggs, slightly muddled. When you're baking, make sure all of your ingredients come to room temperature before you start. You don't really want to start with cold ingredients with baking. It throws off the chemistry. I'm no chemist, but I do know that you need to start with room temperature stuff. I'll show you how we're going to put it all together. In a large bowl, whisk together all of your dry ingredients. That's your flour, your baking soda, your cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and cardamom. Okay, so what I was saying about salt is this recipe is going to call for 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, which I did not show you. I will add it now. I just forgot 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. You can vary that depending on if you're using salted butter or not salted butter. I am putting the whole 1/2 teaspoon kosher salt in. If you're using table salt, I would drastically reduce that because different salts are saltiness on different levels. What am I trying to say? Different salts have different levels of saltiness. Kosher salt is not hugely salty, but I think it's enough to bring up the flavor of the rest of the ingredients. So I am adding the 1/2 teaspoon. You can vary that depending, especially if you're using salted butter and you're trying to be aware more of your salt intake. This would be a time when you would not add it or reduce it to 1/4 teaspoon. It's 100% up to you. I've made this recipe before many times through the development, and I like the addition of the salt. I'll just measure it in right now. So I'm just going to mix that together and set it aside. Now in another bowl the same size or smaller, you're going to mix together your wet ingredients. So far I put in the sugars, the egg. I need to put the butternut puree in. I'm going to get that all mixed together and then add my melted butter. Where I live, sugar tends to clump because we have a lot of moisture in the air, so I want to grab that and kind of break it up before I add the butter. And then we're just going to mix that up. Just get it all incorporated. The butter likes to float on the top, so I want the sugar and the butter to emulsify. I'm not going to worry if there's little clumps or little bits of molasses. It's mostly emulsified, and that's good enough. A little quick cleanup, and then I'll show you what I do next. We're just going to incorporate this into the flour mixture. I could have done it the other way. I don't think it matters. I just make a little well in here, and with my same whisk, I'm just going to mix all this together. I'm not doing one big giant liquid dump there. I'm just kind of mixing it, incorporating the flour as I go. I need to put this down so I can hang on. You can use a mixer if you want, but I find this is just as easy, and one less thing I gotta clean. I'm just gonna show you how this looks. That's pretty good. You just want to incorporate it. Can you see the little molasses flecks in there? That's just molasses that didn't quite incorporate into the white sugar when you make your own brown sugar. It'll bake up just fine. But that's what the batter looks like so far. I'm simply going to fold in my cherries and pecans at this point. What I don't want to do is overmix my muffin batter. You see how thick that batter is? Alright, now it's time to just scoop it into your liners. And I'm using a 3 tablespoon scoop. Once you get it all scooped in there, just tap it. So this is about how full I did the liners. I could have gone a little bit more, but this will make a nice size for a potluck type breakfast. I'm going to bake them at 350 for about 22 minutes. I'm going to check them at 20, and they're done when a toothpick inserted in the center one, comes out clean. But before I bake them, I'm going to sprinkle the tops of each one with some raw sugar, just to give the top a little crunch. Okay, in the oven they go. So I'm setting this for 20 minutes, and I will come back and talk to you. You know, I gotta clean the dishes now. If you've made it this far, you truly are a friend of mine. It's a privilege to have you come into my home. So thank you for joining me. If you like this kind of content, please hit the like button. It really helps out the channel. And also consider subscribing. I need all the help I can get in more ways than one, but this is one way that you can help, and it doesn't cost you anything. It's free. It's free to subscribe. So why not? If you have any comments about today's recipe, or if you've tried it, I would love to hear from you. I love interacting with you. Okay, that's my timer. It's been 20 minutes, so I'm gonna check it with a toothpick. Be right back. Wonder where my toothpicks are. Where are my toothpicks? Where do you think my toothpicks are? Maybe over here. I got them. I store mine in a ball freezer jam container. I don't like those little boxes. They're annoying. Okay, let's check it. Man, I could tell they weren't done. They need at least 5 more minutes, so I'll be back. Okay, I gave it 4 more minutes. I know it felt like nothing to you. I'm gonna go check it. BRB. Look how pretty they turned out. They're really hot, so I'm going to let them cool, and then we'll do a little taste testing. My favorite part. I had enough dough to make just 3 more, so I'm gonna pop those in. I guess the word is batter. I had enough batter. Put them on a rack and let them sit. Okay, you know the drill. I'm still cleaning up, and then I will show you. Hey, see how easy that was? So easy. I had to pin up my hair. I don't have a style. My style is no style, so embrace that. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm doing with this because I'm just still learning about curly hair, and I trying to figure out what it's going to do. So I'm gonna let it grow out and then I'll probably cut it again. I really liked it short. It was super easy, just wash and go. I mean, I still wash and go, but now it doesn't look as cute. What are you gonna do? Hey, I just want you to know that I love you guys. Okay, I'm done. They turned out so cute. They're still really hot. Ooh, hot. So pretty. You can see the sparkle of the sugar on the top. Okay, I'm just gonna pull them out of here so they can cool more completely. My other ones are almost done. They look so festive. I think this will be so nice for the party. I know what's in here. I know all the ingredients in here. There's nothing funky. I feel good about it. If you're gonna eat a little sweet treat, you know, it doesn't have chemicals in it I can't pronounce. Even the squash was homegrown. I love that so much. These guys came out. We'll let those cool. You can see like this muffin tin is very shallow, so these blossomed out. They're a little bit wider on the top, but still it was the same 3-ounce scoop. So it's the same size muffin, just looks a little different, and that's okay. All right, I'm gonna get rid of the scum, okay? Okay. Oh, I look crazy. Now it's time for the taste test. It's time for the unwrapping of said delicious muffinness. So, yeah, that looks so good. So moist. I love that I put the sugar on the top because it made that little bit of a crunch. Look how nice that looks. There's a bit of cherry in there. So good. I think the ladies in my Bible study are gonna love this. All right, I have to go give one to Mark now. I love you guys so much. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for being a part of my family on the YouTube. Bye.